The cold wind rattled softly against the tall glass windows of the hospital as the night shift began. Christmas lights blinked lazily in the corridors, but the glow felt distant, like a celebration happening far away from the reality inside. Nina, a young nurse with tired eyes but a warm smile, tightened her ponytail and picked up her chart. Another long night, another holiday spent working. She didn't complain. She never did. Work kept her grounded, and besides, Christmas wasn't something she looked forward to. Not anymore. Her own family lived miles away, and she hadn't had the time or money to visit them this year. She had accepted that Christmas would pass quietly, just like every year. But fate had different plans for her. Halfway through her round, she found a small envelope taped to the door of room 507. A paper star sticker held it in place, sparkly and slightly crooked. Nina frowned. This floor was usually reserved for VIP patients, wealthy businessmen, foreign diplomats, people with private insurance. Room 507 belonged to Mr. Adrian Hale, a CEO known as much for his fortune as for his cold, distant attitude. He barely spoke. He avoided visitors. Even the doctors whispered that he preferred silence over sympathy. Still, a letter on his door. Strange. Nina gently peeled it off and noticed 3 tiny hearts drawn near the top. The handwriting looked childish, round, uneven letters. She opened it carefully. Inside was a single message written in purple crayon. Please visit Daddy. He's lonely. The triplets heart. Nina blinked, reading the line twice. Triplets. Mr. Hale had children. No one had ever mentioned that. He never received visitors. No balloons. No toys. No family pictures. Nothing. Just a man in an expensive suit, always alone behind a closed door. She tucked the note into her pocket and knocked lightly before entering. Mr. Hale sat upright in bed, a laptop open in front of him even though it was past 11 p.m. His face looked pale in the sterile hospital light, dark circles carved beneath his sharp eyes. He barely glanced up. You're late for vitals, he said, voice flat. Nina forced a polite smile. It's still within the hour. He didn't argue, didn't smile, didn't soften. He rarely did. As she wrapped the cuff around his arm, she could feel the stiffness in his posture, the guardedness in the way he avoided eye contact. After a long silence, she finally spoke. Someone left a note on your door. That made him look up. Quick, sharp, as if the words hit him somewhere he didn't expect. A note, he asked. From whom? She pulled it out and offered it to him. His breath caught the moment he saw the handwriting. For the first time since she had met him, something fragile flickered in his eyes, a sadness that looked too old, too heavy. He took the letter with trembling fingers. Nina stepped back, pretending not to stare, but she saw the moment his mask cracked. His throat tightened, his eyes softened, his jaw set in a painful memory. They came, he whispered, almost to himself. They actually came. Nina hesitated. Your daughters, triplets, he murmured. Sophie, Sarah, and Serena. He didn't explain further, but the weight in his voice was enough. Nina understood. Whatever happened between him and his daughters, whatever distance existed, it hurt him more than anything else. After a long moment, she said gently, they want you to have company. Maybe they worry about you. A sad smile tugged the corner of his mouth. They shouldn't. I'm the one who failed them, not the other way around. The room felt colder suddenly, the loneliness in his words too loud to ignore. Nina wanted to walk away. This wasn't part of her job, but something stopped her. Maybe it was the note. Maybe it was the way he held it, like a fragile piece of hope. Or maybe, deep inside, she understood loneliness more than she admitted. Do you want to talk about it? She asked softly. He shook his head. You're a nurse, not my therapist. She nodded. That's true. Then she added, but sometimes talking to a stranger is easier. He exhaled slowly, and for the first time, he set the laptop aside. Hours slipped by as he talked, hesitant at first, then gradually opening up. He told her about losing his wife during childbirth, about raising triplets alone while juggling a massive company, about missing birthdays and school plays, about growing into a man who provided everything except his presence. They started pulling away, he said quietly. I kept telling myself they'd understand when they were older. But they didn't. They shouldn't have had to. Nina listened without judgment. The truth was simple. He wasn't heartless. He was heartbroken. Around 2 a.m., she stood to leave. Try to rest. It helps with healing. He glanced at the note again, voice softer. Thank you for listening. She smiled. Anytime. But as Nina walked back to her station, something felt wrong. Christmas Eve was tomorrow. The hospital was quiet. Too quiet. He would spend Christmas alone, again. His daughters clearly cared, but they weren't here. An idea sparked in her mind. A warm, crazy, impossible idea. She stopped at the nurse's lounge, pulled out a small box of tinsel decorations she had brought for the pediatric ward, and stared at them thoughtfully. Then she made a decision. If his daughters wanted someone to visit him, if he was too broken to fix things alone, then maybe she could help bring Christmas to him. The next evening, while most of the staff exchanged holiday wishes, Nina stayed behind after her shift. She strung lights across his room, setting up a small tree from the storage closet. She placed a cup of cocoa on his bedside table, added marshmallows in the shape of tiny hearts, and placed 3 paper stars near the tree, one for each daughter. She even brought a small speaker and played soft Christmas music. When she finally stepped back, the room looked warm, alive, something human inside a place built for sickness and silence. She knocked softly. Come in, came his tired voice. The moment he looked up, his eyes widened. For the first time since she had met him, he looked speechless. The cold room had transformed into a gentle Christmas haven. What is all this? He whispered. Christmas, she said. The one you shouldn't spend alone. His voice cracked. Why would you do this? She shrugged lightly. Because your daughters wanted someone to visit you. Because you needed it. And because no one deserves to spend Christmas feeling lonely. He looked at the lights, the tree, the cocoa, the stars, each piece a reminder of what he had lost, and what he still hoped for. Then something unexpected happened. A tear slipped down his cheek. He brushed it away quickly, embarrassed. I don't know what to say. You don't have to, Nina whispered. Just let today be different. He nodded slowly. Stay a little longer. She smiled. Of course. They talked about simple things. Christmas memories, silly hospital stories, childhood traditions. He laughed once, quietly, as if he had forgotten how. She teased him about being too serious, and he teased her about her overly sweet cocoa. For a moment, the world outside the room didn't matter. Midnight approached. The lights twinkled softly. The air felt warmer. And then, as if guided by fate, a knock sounded on the door. Nina turned, confused. Visitors at this hour. When she opened the door, she froze. 3 little girls, identical in height but wearing different colored coats, pink, yellow, and purple, stood holding a small cake with crooked frosting. Is Daddy awake? The girl in the pink coat asked shyly. Nina's heart leapt. Yes, she whispered. Come in. The moment they stepped inside, Mr. Hale's world stopped. Sophie, Sarah, Serena, his triplets. The cake trembled in their small hands as they whispered in unison, Merry Christmas, Daddy. Tears filled his eyes, real, unhidden, unstoppable. He reached for them, and they rushed into his arms, clinging to him with years of missed hugs. Nina stepped back, heart full, watching the reunion unfold like a miracle. A true Christmas miracle, and in that quiet moment, she realized something. She hadn't just brought Christmas to a lonely CEO. She had helped bring a father back to his daughters. And that was the best gift she could have given.